Hello guys, how's everybody doing? So those my Tanzanian people, I'm going to use it clear and this is in English for everyone. So understand clearly. It's been a minute, so let's try to do this recap. As I promised you this week, we're going to have a weekly recap on some of specific pairs that we actually took on previous weeks. A lot of people are actually telling me that it's very hard to treat gold since the gold is it has explosive moves, but actually gold is one of the pairs, one of the best pairs that follows the liquidation process. So let us try to discuss it. At least what everyone of you is going to understand them clearly. I've talked about the areas of liquidity on my previous videos, and this now we had this monthly as our area of liquidity. So you as a trader is one of your responsibilities to look at about the liquidation process clearly that's happening on the lower time frames from this general perspective. And based on the rules from the second agglomeration, gold entered the area of liquidity, the monthly area of liquidity, and also it performed a shift on this area right here. Performed a shift, this area right here. Actually, I wasn't planning to explain these stuffs, but it's for the better. It's for the better for. Let's try to break it down. So the market performed a shift on this area. The market left us with this inside formation. Also, we're having this outside formation right here. So basically, let's try to do one thing right here. Let's try to do this. So after having this outside formation, also the market left us with another area of liquidity from this area right here. So let us try to look now at what was actually happening on these areas. So after the market formed this area of liquidity, we know now what we have to go to look at so that the market may come down to this area. As explained on my previous videos, you have to observe a shift on 1 hour time frame. So clearly, so far there's no other shift on 1 hour time frame, but the shift point on 1 hour time frame was located on this area right here. So we had to wait for the price to come downward to this area so that it can perform another shift so that it can actually continue to go down. But also this one also is an area of liquidity, this area right here. We are having a shift point, but also the same exact shift point is also our area of liquidity. So we have to respect it as our liquidity. And also you have to go to find the liquidation process on 15 minutes time frame so that we can actually take the price down to this area. So on 15 minutes time frame, if you observe clearly here, we are having a shift from this point right here. This was the shift point from 15 minutes time frame. And as a lot of people that know actually how the liquidation process works, they know how to take advantage of these movements. A lot of people took entries on these areas. So after the market performed the shift now, we are having this as our inside formation. And if you observe clearly on this area, the market later on came, tap into the area. That's this area where I actually got my loss on this area. The market stopped me out, but also the market continued to go to my anticipated direction, which is very fair. But if you observe clearly here, we're also having this one right here as a area of liquidity. And for those who know the liquidity consumption concept, they know what to do on these areas. So if we come now to refine this area on 1 minute time from now, find our liquidity engineering on the 1 minute time frame so that we can take this price to the shift point from the 1 hour time frame. The 1 minute time frame. Let's try to look at it. Let's try to look at the liquidity engineering right here. The market later on came and this was our liquidity engineering. And as you can see, the risk was almost how many pips? The risk was almost 4.2 pips. Okay, so we're going to wait for the entry, for the market to trigger the entry on this area right here, so that you can go now to perform a shift on the 1 hour time frame, which is located on this area. So this is how this liquidation process actually works. So you have to wait for the entry on that specific area right there. Okay, so you have to wait for the entry on this area. Just get the price. Just speed up the simulation. Yeah, so the market activated the entry on this area, as you can see. And now we went downward so that we can go to perform a shift on the 1 hour time frame. But so far, the market didn't perform any other shift. Let's try to raise the price again. The market actually performed a shift on this area after the closure of this area. Just try to keep it that way. And the market left us with also an inside formation which was located on this area right here. So we have to mark this as our inside formation. But also for us to come to this area, also we have to find a shift of 15 minutes time frame so that we can perform a liquidation process in this area. Okay, so you have to find a shift of 15 minutes time frame so that we can take the price to this area and perform this normal liquidation process. If you observe clearly on this area, we had a shift. Let me try to remove this area first. We had a shift of 15 minutes time frame right here. And we were having an inside formation which was located on this area. Refining this one to 1 minute time frame, we are having a liquidity engineering located at this level. And here our risk was almost how many pips? Almost 3 pips. So you would have taken your entry on this area. So we took an entry with the buying entry on this area so that we can take the price now to the 1 hour area of liquidity. But now remember that the 1 hour time frame is actually in a bearish perspective. So you just know on how to take your profits clearly. I want to explain it more further. Okay, so the market later on came now. What is the entry? The market had it to come up to this area. The market later on came. When the market reaches to this area, it didn't actually perform any of the price actions that we would indicate to us that we are going down. But as long as we know how to manage these trades, the market later on came to this area, try to liquidate it. So you could actually take your profits on this area. Mind you that you're also continuing to hold your entry from the selling area right here. But if you observe clearly on the 1 hour time frame after the market performed the shift here, we're having 2 inside formations. We're having 2 inside formations. We're having 2 inside formation, which is the first of this one, but also we had this one right here. We try to mark it like this. Try to mark it like this as my second inside formation. So you're having this. The market didn't manage to consume liquidity here so that it can actually create more lows. So that we had to consider this second inside formation. We're finding it on 3 minutes time frame. We are having both liquidity engineering and liquidity flip. Others took the entry based on liquidity flip, but I took the entries based on liquidity engineering, following the liquidity consumption concepts. So this was the first entry that we took from the 15 minutes time frame here, but also now we're going to take the second entry, which will be located on this point right here, the liquidity engineering or the liquidity flip also, and as usual, risk almost 15 pips. Always. Then after, this is how we're going to take this move. This is how we took this move, if you remember clearly. I posted all of these trades. Right on the market came now. We take the entry as you can see here. Then we continue to go down. So as long as we have already finished the liquidation process from the 1 hour time frame, it's time for the market now to go to complete liquidation process on daily time frame. And also we are expecting the market to come to this area right here. So the market later on started to come down on this area. So the market reached to this area, we didn't have any shift. We didn't have any shift from the 1 hour time frame inside the daily area of liquidity. So this indicates to us that the market is continuing to go down. As you can see, almost at a ratio of almost 562 pips till now. So continue to play the price now. We know we clearly, so at the first, when I was trying to explain the monthly perspective on this area, we had a shift on daily time frame, but also we're having this formation right here, which was the outside formation. So we're expecting the market to come to do some sort of reactions on these areas right here. So the market later on came, tapped into the entry, tapped into this zone right here. And as long as the market performed a shift on 1 hour time frame, this was the place where we actually go out for trades. So it actually also take partials after the market reached to this area. So now if you observe clearly now, after the market did all of those stuff, if you observe clearly on the daily time frame, we are having a shift also, and we are having an inside formation. As you can see clearly here, we're having an inside formation. So what we actually have to wait right now is that we have to wait for the shift to happen on the 1 hour time frame, because the market is inside the inside the daily area of liquidity. But also we are, mind you that also we're having a shift on this area right here, and also we're having this as an inside formation. So this pair is actually very Confucius to trade on this area, but we have to wait for the shift on 1 hour time frame. Actually, as you can see, we are having a shift on 1 hour time frame, and clearly now we don't have any of the formations, but my students know how to take this trade because clearly we are having an inside formation. They know how to take this trade. So maybe next week you're going to take this move right here after the market performed this based on the second agglomeration. But also other people actually took the trades based on the liquidity consumption concepts on these areas right here, or these sub areas of liquidity or so, whatever. Okay, so that's how gold actually ended up being on our watch list. Also, we are having this pair right here, the EURJPY entry. On this entry, the market made a shift on this area. Right here, we are having a shift, but also we are having an inside formation, which was located on this point right here. So I was having the daily as my area of liquidity. So now this was very simple entry. I'm going to define this zone on the 1 hour time frame, that you can see if I was having maybe a sort of liquidity engineering so that I could actually take my moves. If you observe clearly here on 1 hour time frame, we didn't have any liquidity engineering available on this area. So just go to try to refine it more on 15 minutes time frame. Clearly on the 15 minutes time frame, we are having, usually take the liquidity engineering nearest to the furthermost deviation. This was the liquidity engineering available on the 15 minutes time frame, and our risk here, as you can see, was almost how many pips? Only 2 pips, but it's better for you to extend it to maybe 4 to 5 because of some things like slippage, things like spreads, and so whatever. So it's better for you to extend it clearly. Maybe 4 to 5 pips actually enough. So that is how the trade was taken on this specific entry. Let's try to speed up the simulation so that we not waste much more time. In the price return, the market came. As you can see, the market activated the entry on this point right here, and market started to go up. And as long as we entered based on the daily area of liquidity, my students know how to manage the trades based on these zones. So the market started to rally. The market is continuing to go up until today. And so far, we are having a daily on based in terms of recent price action. Actually, the market went almost more than 600 pips, almost 651. But also, we are having this as a recent area of liquidity. So it's better for us to maybe look at the liquidation process if it actually happened in the 1 hour time frame. So far, the market performed a shift on this area right here. We're having this information. So far, we have nothing actually. We just have to wait for the price to do its thing as usual. Yeah, so that's how the EURJPY trade was taken. Also, we had another trade on the GBPAUD pair. Actually, we are having this as an area of liquidity, the weekly time frame area of liquidity, bullish area of liquidity. So now, based on the second agglomeration, we had to wait for the market to come downward to this area so that we can actually take our trades. But let us try to observe clearly if we had a motive, if we had a move actually that tried to take us down to this area right here. Actually, we are having some sort of shift on this area. We had a shift on this point right here, the continuation shift before the actual shift had to happen on this area. Also, we're having an outside formation which was located on this area. So this movement right here could have taken us downward to go clearly to the formation from the weekly time frame. Okay, now, Roger, let us try to look at it now after the market later on came. After the market entered to this area, we had a shift and we had this formation. The market tried to do some sort of pure bullish, some sort of entries. Maybe we tried to activate based on the liquidity flips, but later on the market disappointed us and later on came again to this area. So after the market later on comes again now, we had a shift on this area. but also we had some sort of continuation shift on the process where the market tried to create an outside formation, and the market left us with this outside formation right here based on the second shift, which was located on this point right here. So just try not to go to refine it, maybe on lower time frames. And on 30 minutes time frame, as situation time frame, we didn't have nothing on this area right here. Let's try to go on 5 minutes time frame. So far, we didn't have any clear liquidity engineering. About 3 minutes time frame. Let's look at it. Nothing. What about 1 minute time frame? We took an entry based on the zone that was located in this area right here. So this was my entry point. This was my entry point. But the people who know how to actually study the liquidity consumption process and know how to take that trade. So this was the entry point now, and how many pips there is got to offer on this area is almost how many pips? Almost 5 pips. So you could have taken your entry on this area right here and wait for the price to do this thing. Yeah. Playing the price, the market later on came, activated the entry. As you can see on this point right here, the entry was activated. The market now started to rally. It started to go up. Just play the price to see what was happening. Market started to create more highs. Market performed another shift on this area. So it would have taken your partial, but a lot of people know how to manage their trades based on the responses, based on the previous highs, based on the left side information provided by the market. But also after having this shift also, there was some sort of formations on this area. I mean the outside formation also on this area. And when you come to refine it clearly again, we're going to find out that on 30 minutes time frame, I didn't want to explain this more further, but for those who know the fourth formation, they know what to do on this area. But the entry was located on this point right here. In the 5 minutes time frame, we are having a sort of liquidity engineering, which is very powerful. A lot of people know what I mean by saying that this is very powerful. So our risk was supposed to be on this point right here. And we had a risk of how many pips? Only 5.2 pips. So we had to wait for the price to come again on that point right there, then after the market has to. But this entry is short term and it's very risky because we are inside the weekly area of liquidity. So it is very, very dangerous to take entry. So you have to take it based on a short term. The market continue to move. So it's better for you to be very, very precautious taking those entries. Yeah, so that is how this entry was taken. So we are having another entry on the US30. We had this shift point right here on the monthly time frame, but also we are having this as our outside formation. But clearly, if you come to observe it clearly on the daily time frame now, we had a shift on this area right here also, had a shift on this point right here. So a lot of students know how to take these trades based on the rules that I taught them. So when we try to come to refine this point on this area right here now, we took entry based on the zone from the 15 minutes time frame because these players actually had a very, very low risk based on 15 minutes time frame. The entry on this area right here. So this was the entry point. And also this was my risk. How many pips? 4.19 pips. So that is how this trade was taken, because clearly in terms of direction bias on the monthly perspective, they're actually going up. They clearly the market performed or created this kind of formation. Yeah. So paying the price on the daily time frame, we are having a risk of almost how many pips? 4 point how many pips right here? 4 point. Extend maybe to 4, even to 5. It's not bad at all. Yeah. So we had this entry point right here. Pay the price to this is what was actually happening. It on the market came, activated the entry and the market started to go up. But also, so this is how the US30 entry was taken. But also, we also add another entry on the 4-hour time frame based on the continuational criteria. We had a formation. I mean, we had an entry on this area right here. We find this area maybe to 30 minutes time frame. We are having, I don't know how I can explain this, but a lot of students may actually understand what I mean when I actually look on these criteria. Some details I want to explain them more further, but clearly we are having, some kind of liquidity flip, which was also a round retest flip. No, I mean, it was actually a confirmed liquidity flip, which this was the entry point, but the risk is very low, so you actually had to extend your entries maybe somewhere here. But your stated value depends on some brokers. Others have some sort of high peak value, others have sort of low peak values, but so far so good. So that is how the entry was taken on this point right here, and this is how this pair is actually continuing to go up. But those students who know how to handle these agglomerations, how to handle these, the fourth and the fifth, they know how to take these trades. So that was how the market actually went on this US30. Of course, we didn't understand how the entry from the NZDUSD was taken, the short-term entry. Clearly, we are having this as an area of liquidity from the monthly time frame, but also we had to shift on daily time frame so that we can actually follow this movement right here. So the shift point actually in daily time frame happened on this point right here, but also we're having this as an inside formation, shows this one, inside formation. But also for us to come to liquidate to this area, also we had to shift on 1 hour time frame. So you have to observe a shift point on each one time frame so that we actually go down to this daily time frame before you can actually start to liquidate it. When the price so far didn't have any shift, the market later on performed a shift on this point, and we had this as our inside formation also. But some of you guys were stopped out from this entry. But that's why I usually tell my students it's better for you to extend your stop loss 1 or 2 pips above the furthermost deviation because of actually avoiding this some sort of these reactions. So observe clearly here we are having this, as you can see, we had 0.2 pips. So if you actually put your stop loss on this exact furthermost deviation point right here, you will have been stopped out. It's better for you to extend maybe 1 or 2 pips, as you can see, maybe somewhere there after the market later on came. But nonetheless, even if you actually miss that entry, you could actually take this entry based on the outside formation which was located on this point right here. So on 15 minutes time frame, clearly you had nothing. And maybe on 3 minutes time frame, try to observe it clearly. Here we are having some sort of liquidity engineering right here, but also this liquidity engineering, we took it because it was aligning itself with some sort of liquidity inducements previously to the area right there. But there's also probability of the market to come to tap to this area and go away and not coming to this liquidity engineering right here is because of the liquidity flips. My students know what kind of liquidity flip I'm talking about on that point right there. So this was the entry point. Then we had to wait. Actually, if you observe clear, there is almost 14, maybe to 13 pips. But it's better for you to extend it maybe to somewhere your furthermost deviation actually was located on this point right here. So clearly maybe trade the price to see what was happening. So later on the market came and activated the entry. As you can see, the market started to go down. But the market didn't reach to the daily area of liquidity. Then it performed a shift again, as you can see on this area right here. Started to do some sort of kind of accumulation. So that was how this trade was taken based on that criteria. But the main reason for the market to behave like this, we know, my students know how powerful liquidity flip is, and as you can see, you have a clear momentum activity on this area right here. Also, you're having this liquidity inducements previously, so know now that the market actually had to come to this point right here. Some of them took this entry, but I personally didn't take this entry because I was waiting for the market to come to this area, and actually I didn't trade a lot this week. So that is how this trade was taken. Another entry which was actually thanks a lot of people. This UK100, we're having this shift point right here, and we're having this as our formation. But clearly, those who know how to trade the fifth agglomeration know how to take this trade. Let me try to explain it basically. On daily time frame, we're having a shift on this point. But also we're having this formation as an inside formation. So this trade is very easy. It was just a matter of you to come to the 1 hour time frame to find your some sort of liquidity engineering clearly, which was located clearly on this point right here. So this was the entry point. So you have to take your entry on this point right here, and yeah, clearly. So this was your entry. Your stop loss would have been almost somewhere here, and the market started to go up, and actually is continuing to rally. And so far, we also had a shift. Also, we had actually this was an also formation, but also the market later on tried to liquidate to this point right here, and the market continued to go up. Clearly on daily time frame, do we have some sort of reversal? I don't know. If you observe clearly here, so for the market, we anticipated for the market to come to try to liquidate previously on the formation that the market tried to form on this point right. So clearly that was the UK100 entry. Also, another entry that we took recently was the silver. And let us try to look at the direction bars on the monthly perspective. Come to the monthly time frame, we're having this shift point right here. Also, we are having outside formation, which was this one. So in order for us to come down to this point right here, to fill this area of liquidity, we have to find a shift on daily time frame. So on daily time frame, the market first of all performed a shift on this area right here, but they actually didn't try to liquidate this formation. But later on, the market came again and performed another shift on this area and left us with this outside formation, which was located on this area. So this was our formation for the outside formation, clearly. So if we go now to the 1 hour time frame to find maybe to do some sort of refinements on this point right here, so that will actually take your entry. Let me try to mark this by green because that's the color code that I usually use. When we go to the 1 hour time frame now, actually we had nothing at this point. If you go clearly to the 15 minutes time frame to observe what was actually happening downward to this area, we had a clear momentum activity, which is very powerful and it's very actually good. We are having this sort of liquidity flip right here. So just place you are going to take your entry. As you can see, you had almost 12 flips as your risk. So you're going to take your trades for the market to go down to this area from this point right here. Yeah, so this was how the trade was taken. But way back, we are going to discuss also the trade from this week. I'm just trying to show you how each and everything that actually happened, actually began. I mean, so if you play the price rate on the market came, activated the entry. For example, clearly the entry was activated on this point. But also after the market activated this entry, if maybe you missed this move, it actually take your entry based on confirmation entry also on this point right here, this liquidity engineering right here. So you could have taken your entry, your second entry, based on this movement on this particular area right here. Yeah, so the entry was taken on that perspective. So the market now went down. Market went down. Market went down. And remember, this movement was just a result of taking the price downward to the monthly area of liquidity. As you can see, the market now is obeying, the market is actually going down. So the market reached to this point right here, the market performed some sort of shift, but it didn't manage to hold the price. The market continued to create more lows. So maybe we had to bank maybe how many pips? Somewhere 404 pips to how many here? Almost 416, which is far more than enough. We didn't have criteria to confirm our liquidity flow. My students know. Just try to play the price now to see what was happening. Market didn't perform a shift, but we used this area right here to take a shift. I won't explain much further, but we took this entry right here. So now coming to refine this now, because here actually I'm using the second agglomeration because I'm inside the monthly rate of liquidity and the market has already performed a shift on daily time frame. On 1 hour time frame now, trying to refine this entry. Actually here we had nothing, but based on the fourth agglomeration, a lot of students know how to take this move. Coming to 15 minutes time frame now, I was having some sort of liquidity flip available on this point right here. Yeah. So this was the entry point. The entry was taken based on this area right here. Yeah. So this was how silver entry was taken, and the market was actually rallying till now we speak. Yeah. So the market later on came, tried to speed up the simulation, tap into the entry point clearly, as you can see. Then the market now is actually continuing to go up. So observe clearly on this area, even if we had to use this point right here as our furthermost deviation, we actually safe. And the risk was almost how many pips on this entry? The risk was almost 3.5 pips. And so far the market has moved. So the market has moved to how many pips? 221. So that is how this entry was taken. And I always tell people the purpose of the market to try to grab some sort of liquidity on specific areas is that the market has to create more highs, and maybe if the market may actually come to try to test these previous highs right here, so we may actually hold this trade and wait for the market to do its thing. Another entry was the AUDUSD. This AUDUSD, actually, we are having this recently. We are having this as our area of liquidity, the monthly area of liquidity. So we know now that the price has to come to this area to grab each and every liquidity available on this point so that it can actually create more lows. So if we come now to the daily time frame to observe the shift point so that we can take the price upward to this area, we're having a shift which was located on this point right here. It's my shift point. And also this was my inside formation based on the daily time frame, the daily shift. But also for us to come to this point right here, we had to shift on 1 hour time frame. To shift on 1 hour time frame so we can actually take the price down before it can go up. So we're having, so far we didn't have any shift. With the price, the market performed a shift on this point right here. And the market left us with this inside formation, which now you would have taken your entry based on this inside formation. And this trade would have been taken on the 1 minute time frame. It would have been better, but for 3 minutes time frame also, we had some sort of liquidity inducement. Yeah, some sort of, yeah. So we would have taken your entry based on this area. Now your take profit is going to be on the daily area of liquidity. You're going to the daily area of liquidity before actually go up again to the monthly area of liquidity. So now the market went down. Market went down. Market went down. Yeah. The market entered a daily area of liquidity. So now, based on the second agglomeration, we had to wait for the price to perform another shift on the 1 hour time frame. Market came, formed the shift point. And your shift point on this area was located on this point right here. This was the shift point. But clearly, as long as I saw some sort of liquidity flips, I just came in, placed my orders on this point right here. but a lot of people went to the 50 minutes time frame to look to some sort of liquidity flips, maybe somewhere here, sort of. But each and every one of you took the entry based on the. I think the second accommodation is actually common. A lot of people know how to take advantage of it. Yeah. So the market came now, activated the entry, and the market is so far moving upward. In terms of liquidity flip, our risk was supposed to be on this point right here. The candle that took out the overthrow, and we had 2 pips as our risk. So you'd have taken your entry based on that criteria. The market now started to rally again. A lot of people took this order, and the market is continuing to go up till we speak right now. The main purpose of the market right now is to come to liquidate on the monthly area of liquidity, which is this one. So we also wait for the price to enter this area and perform another shift on the daily time frame, another second agglomeration, so that we can actually take the trades based on those criteria. But so far the market went more than almost 1,179 pips. So that is how the AUDUSD entry was taken, almost 140 downward, and also 150 and also 179 upward, as above, so below, as within, so without. So that's how AUDUSD entry was taken. Lastly, a lot of people didn't know how the AUDNZD trade was taken. The AUDNZD, we had this shift point right here on the daily time frame. And also we had this formation, the outside formation. So if you come clearly on this area right here on a 1 hour time frame, had a clear momentum activity available on this point right here. So on 15 minutes time frame, observing clearly, what do we have? Here we had some sort of liquidity flip right here. So you would have taken your entry on this point, on this liquidity flip available on this point right here. But going to refine it more further, some of you went to the 5 minutes time frame to look some sort of liquidity flips. But personally, I took the entry on this 15 minutes time frame, because sometimes the more you refine these entries, you increase more accuracy, and the more you increase more accuracy, you decrease the precision. So sometimes it may be harder for the market to trigger your entries. But even if on 5 minutes time frame, some of you would have taken your entries on this liquidity flip right here, but this was the 15 minutes type, the 15 minutes liquidity flip that was available on that 15 minutes time frame, this point right here. Yeah. So the market later on came. This entry was just a short-term entry, because clearly in the daily time frame, on the monthly time frame, as you can see, the market failed it to. Oh no, I don't have to explain that. Yeah, but this is how the entry was taken. This is how the entry was taken. The market went to these lows right here, try to liquidate them. So you had almost how many pips as you are almost more than 90 pips to capitalize for the day. Yeah, so that is how this entry was taken. And the last recap trade for today, we are having this AUDCAD. We had this shift point right here. Market performed the shift and left us with both inside formation and also outside formation. And on outside formation now, coming to mark to this point right here, this was outside formation. Let us try to go to refine it maybe on 1 hour time frame to observe what was happening on this area right here. Yeah, but clearly we didn't have any liquidity engineering available to take this move on 1 hour time frame. 2 minutes time frame, try to look at it. Also, we had nothing on this area. But trim so that I can actually get more data. So observe clearly about this liquidity engineering. And if you are risking, maybe how many pips? 12 pips. If you have taken this entry also by 12 pips, you'll actually be safe. As you can see, the risk is clearly appetite. But if you go more further to the 3 minutes time frame now, we had some sort of liquidity engineering based on the candles that the market provided, which are located on this point. Yeah. So you would have taken your entry on that point right there. Clearly. That's why we are having some sort of inducement right there. Yeah. So now this was your entry point. And so you're going to take your trade on 1 hour time frame, I mean on that specific liquidity engineering, and your risk is how many pips? Now your risk is almost 5.9 pips. Just have to wait for the price to come to trigger your entry. Then after each and everything is settled. So the market came, tap into the entry point. As you can see, the market started to go up. Till now, the market is actually continuing to go up. Yeah. So this is how these trades were taken. How these trades were actually taken. So nothing personal. Just have to do a lot of work to put in the work, and everything is going to be settled as usual.